What's up, you guys? This is your boy RBG hitting you up with some Dragon Ball news. And man, we gotta talk about this because less than 24 hours ago, the official Dragon Ball Super Twitter account dropped a bomb on us. And if you read by the title, you already know what it is. And first and foremost, let me just say that even though DBS is for the most part lumped together with the entirety of the Dragon Ball canon, it's garnered so much praise that it's become its own thing. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, although we know that Dragon Ball Z is its predecessor, it was still mainly Dragon Ball when it came down to the manga. But Dragon Ball Super has an anime and a manga that shares the same name. And now we have a Dragon Ball Super film hitting the theaters in December of this year. That's right, you heard it. According to this sick key art illustrated by Toriyama himself, the movie is slated to be released on the 14th of December. This is great news for the fans that have been salivating at the mouth for more Dragon Ball material in general, and it pretty much confirms why the series will be going on hiatus. And I really believe that it's because Toei is going to need that manpower to bring some of that top tier animation to the big screen. I'm just wondering what direction they're going to go with in regards to the style of animation, because in my opinion there have been episodes in Super that have superseded the animation from the previous two films. Granted, there have been more bad episodes than good ones, but that's besides the point. I know you guys hate to hear me ramble on about how it's a great time to be alive, so let's get to the good stuff. On Monday, Toei Animation released a key visuals that shows our boy Goku holding his power pole, pause, in his classic Z Fighter gi. As I mentioned earlier, this was obviously drawn by Akira Toriyama himself, and I'm feeling the hell out of it. Because when it comes to Toriyama, he has this less is more philosophy and art style. Like, just the simple fact that we have a basic looking picture of Goku with his power pole gets me hyped. I'm pretty sure that the theater is going to be lit when he pulls that thing out, pause. But anyways, Toei says that the movie will take place after the final episode of Super rather than act as a prequel. And they're pretty much confirming what I mentioned earlier, because they say that it will be the first time a movie has been named Dragon Ball Super. Now we got some more in-depth info in regards to the actual premise, and it looks like we're going to be seeing Frieza take part in yet another Dragon Ball film. And man, I don't know if I should feel salty about this information or not. Like, we've seen this dude have so many cameos in movies, and to be quite honest, he's been the laughingstock in each one. Because we know his arrogance has no bounds, and it ultimately leads to him getting beat down in the long run. But I'm not gonna lie, he's actually grown on me since his role in the Tournament of Power. But moving on, Akira Toriyama released a statement regarding the movie's scenario on the official DB Movie website. It says, and I quote, "The Dragon Ball Super movie this time around will be the next story that takes place after the anime that's currently on TV. The content will shed a little light on previously unexplored topics like having to do with Frieza and the Saiyans, and I think it will be a very enjoyable story that serves up a long-awaited formidable opponent. With 2013's Battle of Gods, the previous installment Resurrection of Elf, and now this time too, I've been the one writing the stories. I've also been drawing quite a few things for them, like design illustrations. I'm actually as busy as ever, and if I wasn't serializing anything, I have time to think about the anime with which I used to not have time to be involved with, LOL. So on that note, I very much hope you look forward to it. By the way, I think the highly popular Dragon Ball Super manga drawn by Toyotarou is going to see some developments different from the TV anime or the movie, so look forward to that. So as you can see, Toriyama has had little to do with the way Super series has been structured. I mean, it was confirmed that he drew up certain character concepts and described their personalities, to which Toei tweaked to their liking, but for the most part, he's been letting them handle the heavy lifting. This is totally understandable, because if you've been following his work, you know that Toriyama is a very busy dude doing all of these character designs for games like Dragon Quest. He even chimes in from time to time to lend his talents towards fighting games like Dragon Ball FighterZ, like drawing that fine ass design of Android 21, who literally damn near broke Twitter. So yeah, he's a very busy guy. But considering he's had little input on Dragon Ball Super, it's great that he can actually get back to writing up a good script, because the man has yet to disappoint. Keep in mind that about 40% of Dragon Ball Super were ideas rehashed from his writing from the last two movies. Now we know that the Tournament of Power is drawn down to a close, and no, I haven't really read up on the supposed spoilers for the last two episodes, but I take it that the Universe 7 will triumph in some kind of way or another. But I have been hearing rumors that Goku's gonna be tapped out on his ki, since he pretty much used his Ultra Instinct a number of times, but it's anyone's guess how that's gonna turn out. If I'm not mistaken, Universe 7 can still take home the gold as long as they have more members than the other teams still left in the tournament before the time runs out. And let me remind you that they actually have two members that have yet to be eliminated, one being Goku and the other one being Frieza, who's somewhere out there taking a Kashin dirt nap. So yeah, the odds aren't necessarily stacked against the Z Warriors here. And since Toriyama has mentioned that the movie will shed light on unexplored topics between Frieza and the Saiyans, I'm thinking Frieza is going to pull some shiesty antics in the last episode. If there's one thing to explore that needs to be explored, it's Frieza's actual race. Like, we really need to know what the hell he is and where he comes from. Like, does he come from this weird race that asexually reproduces similar to the Namekians, or does he have a mammy? That kind of info would add so much more to Frieza as a character, and we could somewhat understand his motivations better. Because let's be honest, there's not much to his character other than the fact that he wants to be the supreme ruler of the galaxy. And now that we know that these Saiyans are going to be expounded upon, I think their origins are going to tie in with Frieza's. Like, wouldn't it be so cool if Frieza's race have had beef with these Saiyans that stems way back before he was born? We've already somewhat seen it in the episode of Bardock with his ancestor Chilled. If you think about it, this whole new element of him being this child prodigy that's capable of gaining an enormous strength after training in a short amount of time makes his race biology even more interesting than the Saiyans. I mean, the Saiyans are known to be this race that's on a whole other level of evolution, but I think if Frieza continued to take training seriously, he'd be just as strong as Goku, if not stronger. And I think fans are wondering what they're going to do with this newly announced Yamoshi character who's said to be the original Super Saiyan God. Could he possibly tie in with Frieza's race, or will he be associated with Universe 6's planet Salada? It seems like those are the particular story elements Akira Toriyama is alluding to. Like, we know he's probably been sitting on these ideas for a while now, so it's gonna be epic. I know I'm a little concerned on if the last episode of Dragon Ball Super will give a proper conclusion to the Tournament of Power, or if it'll be some kind of cliffhanger of some sort. I wouldn't necessarily mind it ending on a cliffhanger because for the most part it'll give us more to talk about in regards to the predictions to the movie. And boy do I love slinging out those theories for a hefty DVS view check. And also, keep in mind that our boy Frieza is pretty much operating on borrowed time here. I mean, the dude is still dead. He doesn't have long until he has to ultimately go back to hell. Like, what if he uses those Super Dragon Balls to resurrect himself and his entire fleet back to life and escapes? Those are just some of the things to think about. But anyways, in regards to the manga, Toriyama says it's going to be handled differently from how it has in the past months. As we all know, Toyotaro is Akira's go-to guy when he wants somebody to come in and somewhat mimic his art style with new designs and whatnot. Since the Dragon Ball Super's manga's inception, he's been throwing in his own input and filling in certain plot holes that weren't addressed in the anime. So yeah, Super has a pretty solid foundation in regards to creative. If they're talking about handling the manga differently, I'm guessing that Toyotaro already knows what the movie script is going to be like and has already started adapting it into the manga's chapters. He's probably come through with that creative stimulus package and thrown in some more ideas to further flesh out the overall story. Now, in regards to the actual show ending and the movies being the final curtain call, Toriyama later addressed that the fans needn't worry about the show ending. He went on record stating that the animated version on TV will be ending for the time being, so I'm guessing that they'll probably eventually pick up where they left off from the movie. I personally hope that they don't repeat the same instance they pulled with Dragon Ball Super, where they essentially take the movie and split it into episodes like they did with BOG and ROF. I'm gonna be super pissed if they do that. And quite honestly, I feel like that's what they're gonna do because Toei loves to be lazy and they know that the fans are still gonna eat this shit up. But if they played it smart, they just feed off the hype of the movie and actually do a continuation of it to lead into a completely new arc for the episodes. Like, bruh, they could end the movie on a cliffhanger for all we know. Regardless of all the speculations, I'm just hyped about this news and I can't wait to see these unseen origins regarding the Saiyans and Frieza. Hell, there's still stuff that Toei hasn't explained, like the actual whereabouts of Oob or when this little prequel will end. Because keep in mind that Dragon Ball Super is a prequel that happens right after the events of the Buu saga but begins before the end of Dragon Ball Z. And can you believe that this will be the 20th movie Toei has produced? Like, that's tough, bruh. If y'all aren't satisfied with all the Dragon Ball content we've been getting, like the shows, movies, and games, something is wrong with you. I'm just wondering if this is going to be a big budget film like the last two, because those were produced by 20th Century Fox if I'm not mistaken. And what animation team are they going to be using, because Toei has some talented animators. I personally hope they use the team that works on the new Digimon series. Now that would be sick. But anyways, I think I've rambled on enough. What are your thoughts on this? Do you find this news exciting? And do you think the series will end on a cliffhanger that leads up to the events of the new movie? Leave your opinions in the comment section below. As always, I ask that you like or dislike the video. It doesn't have to be a thumbs up, it can be a thumbs down. Any feedback is good feedback and will only help me improve on future content. And also, consider becoming a patron. It helps this channel stay independent and self-sustained. Once again, this is your boy RBG signing out on another video. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.